Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Monday, the 10th of May, comes to you from London. And a lot of green on the screen this morning, so markets looking pretty chirpy to start the week. This is my weekly, my daily, and my 60-minute chart, and we start with the dollar index, and we see the dollar sinking lower. I had another bad week last week, making a new low, just falling through that support on the cloud. And Friday we saw fall away, so the dollar is actually just having another lurch down, having found a bottom and recovered. The key thing will be, will we go lower than this previous low? That's the big question. So the dollar is lower. It's up this morning very slightly, but we are now long-term bearish, medium-term turning bearish, and short-term bearish. I like to use a three-bar rule. So if in the next 3 days we don't bounce higher, then I would say that we are below the cloud. The euro, conversely, is higher against the dollar, and again, looking like it will break its cloud. Against the yen, we're seeing the dollar at 108.92. And the yen chart is quite often a good lead indicator for the dollar. Sterling is at 140.75 against that weaker dollar. So that's now breaking higher, bullish on all three time frames. We've got targets to 150, 146, 146, so that looks quite likely. Against the euro, sterling sitting at 115.87, so finding support on the cloud, on the price there, bullish on all three time frames as well. Bitcoin sitting at $58,000, so looking a bit stronger this week, still bullish above the cloud on all three time frames with these big upside targets. If we make new highs, we negate this downside target. That's going to be quite key. The S&P 500 index was up 0.75% on Friday. Disappointing job numbers in the US last week has had an effect. Markets seeing further easing or quantitative easing, so that is fueling the rise. Nasdaq is still underperforming, bearish below the cloud on that short-term chart. The futures this morning, we're seeing the S&P future slightly up and the Nasdaq E-mini down 0.33%. So tech is still seeing a sell away there. So looks like the US market will open lower based on that Nasdaq figure. And the VIX volatility is up 4%. Nothing major in terms of the longer term, but still struggling there a bit. The FTSE future is up 0.2%. The DAX in Germany down 10%, 0.1%, and the CAC Quarante similarly. So European markets flat. Japan is up 1%, so we are seeing a strong rise there. Hang Seng was down 0.9%, and the Shanghai index is actually up 0.25%. Not enough really to take this chart bullish in the medium short term. Of course, India has been a watch under watch with the coronavirus, seeing that gradual deterioration over a period of months. Just finding cloud support at the moment, so the market's still holding on, and the Aussie market was strong, up 1.3% overnight, so that's resource-laden stocks there driving things. Gold sitting at 1834, holding that 1800 level, moving back to short-term bullish. We are seeing gold recovering there. Silver also higher, sitting at 2760 now, so looking set for a break of this big consolidation pattern, so don't be surprised to see silver moving much higher. And copper also continues its run, up 2.6%, so looking strong there. US 10-year yield sitting at 1.6%, so that's quite key, pushing higher. Just a quick look at some of these tech majors. Apple just struggling to make new highs, short-term bullish. Amazon had amazing results, but again just struggling to break out, short-term bearish. Apple was short-term bearish. Alphabet's a standout, that's looking better than most. And if we look at Microsoft, short-term bearish there as well, and Facebook also just struggling to push higher as well, so that's quite key. The energy mix, the big story this morning is the US cyber attack on a pipeline, but not really taking crude oil any higher. We are still struggling to break this $70 mark, so that's quite key, that there's such a big news story which you think would make the price run, and really hasn't moved that dramatically. Same with WTI, we're still bearish here. if this cyber attack gets resolved, expect to see the price fall. So we're neutral this week on crude as a result. We've also turned neutral on US nat gas, which has run into a range here, so that's a harder call. Coal pushing ever higher, and emissions also pushing ever higher. Gas markets in Europe pushing higher as well. Front month contracts on MBP and TTF looking strong, making new highs. The seasonal contracts not looking as strong. German power just might be hitting some just the buffers here, and so we feel it might have run a bit, and so this week we're probably going to just get neutral power. Watch for 1 minute targets for any new upside, and that's much the same we're finding in Nordic power markets, hitting the buffers again, so that's quite key. So power markets in Europe looking for a steady week, but other energy products looking strong. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.